Moving on, the next session, which is on Beyond Cloud Economics, Tapping True Value for CX, Innovation and Operation. Cloud computing is no longer just about storage and costing. Today, it's more about the tools time to market, meeting customers' demand, accelerating innovation, increased reliability, and of course, faster recovery. Well, this session will talk about all these aspects of cloud and why organizations need to look beyond cloud economics. Our speakers this morning are Abhishek Sukhwal, Head Cloud Center of Excellence, Mahindra Limited. Abhishek is heading the Cloud Center of Excellence at Mahindra Group, and he has a rich 20 plus years of experience across various industries and technologies with a focus on cloud strategy, digital transformation, data engineering, emerging technology, and setting up DevOps and of course operation. Joining you is Srinivas Rao Kollipara, CIO and CTO, editor of Software Development Project Limited. Srinivas has 25 plus years of overall experience in IT, including 10 plus years of working abroad on various leadership roles and technologies. We have a thoughtful project focusing on visualization, automation, revamping the entire network, and security, integration, and automation into various systems and equipment. Moderating the session is Ajay Gupta, partner Oliver Wyman. Ajay helps Oliver Wyman expand its presence in India and globally, tapping upon his rich experience with over 23 years. As an expert in digital transformation, he has been involved in several multi-year cross-company revamps, showing his clients the pathway to success in the new digital economy. It's a pleasure to have all three of you join us this morning, and without further ado, over to you, Ajay.
Thank you, Justin, for the introductions. And once again, Srinivas, Abhishek, welcome. Looking forward to hopefully what should be an exciting conversation on the topic of cloud. Maybe just kicking off the conversation and think for the benefit of the audience, if we go back a few years, the entire cloud adoption in India was focusing on basics like how do you build scalable and flexible storage, how do you start doing that for computing capabilities. But now cloud is not just something that's being driven in the back office, but it's become pivotal to company strategies. And it has almost become a way where companies are able to differentiate their business models, their go-to markets. It's increased their agility in the marketplace. I would love to hear your perspectives on how, in your context, in your respective companies, how do you feel the role of cloud itself has evolved? And then, of course, feel free to share your perspectives broader than your own context. How do you feel in India the role of cloud is evolving? So maybe just to open up, that would be what I would ask. And maybe Abhishek, if you want to trigger off, and then we can come to you, Srinivas.
Okay, thanks, Ajay. Very nice question. So the role of cloud in the last 5 years has changed tremendously after post-COVID era when the entire businesses has gone into digitalization, right? So lot of things people have understood that online is something which is happening, and even the traditional businesses like in Mahindra, we used to buy, sell Scorpio or selling Mahindra live spaces, smart homes and other things. Everything has gone digitalized, and then everything has to move towards the customer experience in this. And suddenly the role of cloud has become so prominent that now we feel that the cloud has become imperative for any digitalization of business and growth of a business. And the way cloud gives you that flexibility and that agile in your market offering, because the product life cycle has become very short. So if you talk about vehicles or SUVs, you see in every 3 months a SUV is launched. A lot of features which you need to do. For example, if you talk about electric vehicle right now, the burning topic in the country, right?
Yeah.
Lot of new features, ADAS features, lot of things you have to work, you have to fail, innovate, learn faster. All these things, now cloud has become very important. And another aspect of cloud is, that's what you rightly said, was earlier people were thinking about only compute and other things. Now cloud services which has come, right, which has made those things more faster.
Yeah.
Because you just go and take the service, implement your solution, see whether it is working, you fine tune it, you release it, you see the customer response, and then you again release it. Right. So it has become now the growth story of any company. So if we talk about next 10 years is for tech leadership across your businesses, right? So tech will only take the businesses into growth. So in that area, definitely cloud is very important, has become, which I'll say is, it becomes so imperative that cloud is a part of the story, right?
Yeah.
So either giving your customer experience or even for the operational per se also, the cloud has become very important.
Thanks, Abhishek. Great perspectives and across multiple businesses. Srinivas, anything to add or any different way you look at it?
Yeah, I agree to that because now, couple of years back, I still remember working with a lot of management team. When we say cloud, there's a fear factor of was very high. They said, "Cloud, are we sure we are the first, or is you have any customer references?" We are hearing a lot of security concerns, whether our data will be shared with others or they will access our data and give to somebody else. So a lot of concerns were there. A couple of years back, moving to the cloud, they were always preferring on-prem as a first option. Now, I think just before pandemic or even after COVID, I think that has elevated cloud as a cloud first strategy. Now, many companies even think now they say it's a cloud first strategy itself. Even in our company, L&T, IDPL, when we talk about you setting up any even a new business or new data center or anything, management says cloud first. So why do we even plan a data center? They say let's just implement everything on cloud. So it gives a lot of advantages as you're talking about. I could see like very quick deployments of any new services you want. If it is an on-prem, basically you need to raise a POs, you need to do a lot of evaluations, you have to select a product, a lot of commercial discussions happens and you have to do a POC, of course, then buying that, installing it, configuring it. And I mean, that's a huge pain. Now, moving to the cloud, you see all these major cloud vendors, they have this marketplace. So you just use it whatever period you want. If you're not happy, just switch off and again switch on the new service of some other partner. So that gives a wide variety of flexibility of using tools and the software or trying out with multiple products. Fail fast. Do not invest on new servers or storage or computing or a lot of SaaS, PaaS, as whatever you're talking about in the market. A lot of things are there as a ready to try in the cloud, which may not be, I mean, which might be very, very difficult to try out in the on-prem. Because on on-prem, you need to set up everything fresh. But in cloud, you can choose any instance size of whatever you want, whether it's a high compute, high storage. You can use it, scrap it, throw it off. Then you can only use for a few hours, few minutes, whatever your requirement is for the businesses. I think now going cloud is imperative and definitely it will be a norm. I can see a huge trend in most of the companies. Even the management have started talking about moving to cloud itself, saying you want to set up new business, they select first, okay, set up cloud. They're not even talking about allocating your data center space now in the new offices. So back to you.
Thanks, Srinivas. Thanks, Abhishek. Maybe just building on this, and before we got started with this discussion, I was mentioning to you that we recently wrote a report along with NASSCOM, of course, on the future of cloud. And one of the things we wanted to ask the various participants from the industry is, what are the top two reasons or drivers of cloud adoption? And very interestingly, while some time back it could have been about capability or cost, from everyone we heard, most of the factors were related to customers. And the top two factors that people talked about, one was the ability to very quickly launch new products and services, and second was much better customer engagement and experience. And these are very interesting signs for us. Now, very clearly, pandemic was one accelerator, but of course, the rapid digital business model adoption and some of the startups and unicorns you've seen around us have been great examples of that, have demonstrated that if you go with a cloud first strategy, there are natural advantages, right? In terms of reduced time to market, you can iterate faster, you can rebuild quickly. I would love to hear from your side examples perhaps of where you feel adopting cloud allowed you to improve your engagement with the customers, either from an offering standpoint or from an experience standpoint. So, any examples, Abhishek, Srinivas, that come to mind?
Yes, so the recent example is our Scorpio and launch. So we launched new Scorpio. Now, the problem which we had was now there was a huge rush in the marketing told us that around uh, there's 1 crore people will come on the first because we have offered some better pricing to customers, right? So there was a record also that in half hour we had 1 lakh bookings done. So now, and these scenarios, now you don't have that prediction of how much scalability you will require and how fast you require and all this. And cloud gives you that opportunity. We made the entire architecture on the microservice based Kubernetes base, and it scaled up to 1,000 plus nodes. And we were able to seamlessly give our customers that booking experience and all. And this is something which we feel that uh, cloud has only have a possibility of such kind of scalability experience which you want to give to customers. Otherwise,
Interesting.
it was very difficult how to make it on prem, and that is only for that event basically, right? Then after that, what you will do with your resources basically.
Yeah.
So that is where the elasticity and then you can purchase whenever you require, and then you can scale, and that is where the beauty of cloud.
Yeah.
And that the services comes with the cloud with the monitoring, or you say the managed Kubernetes. These things make it so simple for us, right? Then the cloud integrates with your DevOps tool also very seamlessly.
Yeah.
So your container repository, your DevOps tool, your containers, all this is so automated that you need not worry about what is happening. You just see your console, dashboards. Yes, everything is working fine. I used to remember in on-prem, it was a very tough job. That time it was, that traffic was not so high also. Even that time, used to think about like, how do we manage this internal, I'm talking about not online was there, but internal customer or some event or something, right? It
Yeah.
was very tough those times.
Interesting example. Srinivas, in your segment or sector, do you see any direct sort of customer facing impact of cloud?
At least for our industry, we don't have much towards the customer facing, but for us, it's most of it is the backend processing. Whether now you take about the fast tag, so it goes in a milliseconds. When 2 to 3 seconds, a vehicle has to come and it has to pass, and you see the communication between the banking system for giving clearance and the various machines, the toll booth barriers, and then the toll software, the fast tag, the payment. So everything happens within 3 to 4 seconds for every vehicle. So what now currently we are doing a lot of POCs with various scenarios. One is on the same thing. Now we have our toll booths across pan India. Now what we are doing is we are planning to integrate with the cloud, where we want to set up a control center at the cloud level, because and then the backups also we are have started planning to do daily backup, incremental backups across all plazas, and the storage has to be been up to your concession period, which could be even 20 to 30 years. I mean, now assuming that kind of storage and that kind of a processing, where you really do not know what could be the volume of transactions, what could be the storage sizes and all that, predominantly very difficult to do a capex budget and have a huge servers and storage backup of that again, and another huge storage boxes in on-prem. It will be very difficult. So here the cloud plays a very vital role, and in cloud we have multiple models of storage mechanisms also. If you are not touching the storage, we have, where you say, deep archive storages are also there, where the cost of per GB is very, very less in cents. So I think where the use cases are heavy storage or heavy computing, dynamic computing, and then usage of multiple services, random services testing, I think cloud is a very good example. Other one, what we recently tried is also the Kubernetes containers. Like we were working with a partner. He says like, sir, we want to deploy an applications in the containers and in the Kubernetes. We tried in the on-prem. It was very difficult because multiple services are there and multiple instances are there. And if one fails, automatically other has to take out the service and it has to start and it should consume that. That kind of architecture on-prem is a little bit very difficult. So then that is also another example where once we move to the cloud, we have a lot of services which takes care of all this management of various Kubernetes and containers applications. So one service fails, automatically it spins in other instance and seamlessly it does the orchestration. So we are also doing this for fields and operations management across all our toll plazas and power transmission line business.
Yeah.
So these are the two examples what I can say, but we are trying a lot of AI video-based analytics, which will be planning to push from every toll plaza, which will give all my missing assets, damaged assets seamlessly, and then it will identify exactly which assets are damaged, and if it is a true case or if it is not a false anomaly, it will trigger, and then automatically the next phases will be integrating to SAP. So notification will be created. As is created, immediately it will be synced to your mobile applications where the team, the staff who will be working on doing the maintenance, it will be immediately interfaced to them. So now you see from that point, couple of years back where it's all done manually now, it's completely going for a full-fledged automation through video-based analytics, AML based, and then cloud computing, and not looking back into the huge storage requirements, not looking into the compute or scalability of my Kubernetes. So if suddenly there's a huge demand, it spins off into one instance, two instance, three instance, and until the load is done again, it comes back automatically. So the elasticity, scalability, and all, we are very comfortable with cloud.
Yeah. It's very interesting that while you started by saying that maybe there's no direct customer impact, but your customers, eventually citizens, and there's no limit to the use cases. I mean, data will only become more and more unlimited, and more use cases will keep coming, whether it's in security, it's in comfort, convenience. So I can only imagine that as someone who's aggregating this across the country and setting up these NOCs, etc., I can imagine the use of cloud only increasing. So very interesting to hear this. I will just go back a bit, Abhishek, and I think again when we were looking at the adoption of cloud, when we did the study, we saw there were, of course, natural early adopters of cloud. You can call them born in the cloud companies, and you can look at companies like financial services or retail, which are very data oriented and have been data friendly, right? And then you start sort of coming back to aspiring sectors and then laggard sectors, so to say. Now, being a part of a conglomerate and you lead the center of excellence, you probably see this entire spectrum of very advanced to probably wanting to adopt cloud. Anything you'd like to bring to the notice of the audience also on what do you feel is common across that these are the nature of cloud services all of your internal customers seek? And also some examples of what are some of the more progressive entities willing to innovate and explore, but maybe adoption is not so much in some of the brick and mortar and old world spaces. Anything that comes to your mind?
Yeah, so definitely as we are a very diverse conglomerate having into 23 industries from auto to hospitality sector to life spaces and finance, insurance, and all these kind of businesses. Right now, we have a lot of digitalization is happening and a lot of businesses moving in that direction. So yes, we are early adopters. Mahindra Finance, insurance, and all this. These were the already early adopters of cloud. Eventually, the other laggards are also moving towards that. But as a cloud center of excellence, we are creating that. What we have understood is for the entire conglomerate, we have to work in the direction of the transformation, how we can bring about, right? And that's what the cloud center of excellence charter is, to bring that transformation. So transformation will come from a center excellence team of cloud to go to the to tactical to strategic point of view, because what happens is once you go in cloud, right, now you don't require a network CCNA certified engineer or a VMware, because everything becomes a software. It becomes a click of a button. So how we enable our different teams, business teams, and how we can democratize our cloud services also. So we are working towards creating that platform. So secure reference architecture, self-provisioning, which we have made. We know that we have to be in a hybrid culture, because since such a big conglomerate and our assets are already there on cloud, and different, we have Azure, AWS, GCP. So what we are doing is we are trying from Center of Excellence, creating a platform where people can, our internal company stakeholders can come, they can do self-provisioning. We have made everything on templatizations, and that is the way where we are working towards reference architecture, that how fast you can.
Srinivas, I think I would say you probably belong to more of the industrials project operations oriented domain, right? Where some of these natural use cases don't arise. But would you like to call out what benefits you have seen beyond sort of lower cost of operation, perhaps, but in terms of doing things in a standard way, utilizing harmonious ways of executing some of the technology and digital initiatives? Have you observed any benefits of adoption of cloud that you would want to call out from your context?
Yeah, definitely. See, now most of our projects, as we could see, there's a lot of dynamic changes in statutory requirements. Even the design requirements are changing. The government for example, if I take a highways, the government says now within next year or 6 months, there'll be no FASTag. It'll be a GPS-based solutions. They're telling there should not be any toll booths at all in the highways. So there's very dynamic and the statutory requirements also coming from even the governments now. So we need to be ready with. We never know what's next after 1 year. Whatever solutions we have today, it may not be even for use also after a year. So as the requirements are changing, a dynamicism is there. We need to be ready. So move fast. So as the requirements are coming, we should develop a prototype. We should be ready with the solutions. We should test it as fast as possible, and we should be ready in the market. And our goal from L&T as an IDPL entity is always technology lead first. So we always believe in leading the technology and be the first in the market in our at least the segments. So we always try to do a lot of R&D innovation and always keep trying a lot of new products and solutions. So for that, I think the cloud is only a way forward.
Super. Abhishek, I think we had a technical glitch. We lost you for the last part of your answer. Anything you want to sort of use as a closing point on the previous question?
I was talking about the cloud center of excellence.
Yes.
What organizations should think about is, so that's what I was talking about. That how we bring transformation, so everybody in the organization should be knowing about cloud, the technologies, and the main part, which is I think for the audience and everybody, is the governance is very important for cloud. The FinOps part is very important, because cloud can be a thing when you will think after some time that, oh, I have to go back because it is costing me more. Because cloud is something different. So it's not just like a data center. If you want to create data center at cloud, then it will be very costly. So if you want to go on cloud, you work like cloud to change the way cloud works. And this sense of cloud and this awareness, how cloud works, has to be with everybody in the organization. They should be sensitive about running their workloads, because often we see that workloads, people don't care about, okay, I'm configuring this, they are not snoozing it, they're not doing RIs, or then the cloud becomes very costly. And after some time, we find out that the cloud is very costly. Then the cloud first strategy has failed. Now we have to go back on-prem. The cloud is very costly. Now we can see like lot of startups which are there. They are very being in cloud. born actually. So they are very uh, uh, good at cloud technologies, and their architectures are normally with the cloud. We, as a corporate sector, the old one, we have a problem to manage that legacy plus modernization.
Yeah.
The legacy becomes too hurdle for us to migrate into cloud. And I have been talking to our legacy application provider also, that you guys have also to evolve and change. Otherwise, for us to manage this legacy will also be a problem going forward. Right. So that is there. This is what my message is to the entire forum is. Cloud governance and finance is one part, and that discipline across the organization is very important. Otherwise, your cost will shoot like anything, and very soon you will find that you are out of budget and out of everything.
Yeah. I think those are very useful pointers. I'm sure people will find it useful, especially as they're embarking on this journey. So thanks for those pointers, Abhishek. I think we have a few minutes to go. Maybe I want to use this as a wrap up question. Uh, I think everyone recognizes the value of cloud. We've talked about it for the last 20, 25 minutes. But having said that, perhaps there is uh, the sense of urgency is not felt across the board. I think there are various players in this ecosystem. There's the cloud service provider. There's of course the users of the service. There are people who provide the skills to actually do both the build, the manage, the transition, and all of that. There is the government from a policy making standpoint. I think the question to you is, if you had one dream ask, or if you had one demand from the ecosystem saying, if you do this, then the overall adoption of cloud will accelerate and India at large will benefit from it, be it in terms of efficiency, in terms of economic impact, job creation. Maybe one thought from each of you on what would that dream ask be. Srinivas, we can ask you first and then come back to Abhishek.
It's one point what we expect or a dream. I think it's very difficult to say come with one point. It has to be a couple of things because the models are so different from each cloud vendor. AWS has a different perspective, Azure has a different, and then GCP, and then we have a lot more private data centers coming up in the market. Everybody has a different pricing mechanisms, and the structures are different. Their architectures are different. So coming up with one would be very, very difficult because we need to really see when you're engaging in the cloud, you need to really see what is your core requirement and what's your next couple of years of requirement. As Abhishek is saying, that governance, management, monitoring of all your instances, storage or computing power, what is the usage of, how many hours you're using, what is the data in and what is the data out. So a lot of people normally do not study this, but I think the more it becomes quite user friendly, even the dashboards, because a lot of providers I see is that there's no ready-made dashboards available for the beginners to come and see. I use this. What is my auto suggestion? The way we do an applications and usage, I think that kind of thing doesn't exist automatically. You need to build up either with the help of partners or somebody. But I would see that one kind of thing coming with a simple dashboard which says you're either overutilizing or you're underutilizing, and auto sizing automatically happens to the tool. Where if you're not using for a certain period of storage, automatically, okay, you're only using 20%, so automatically rest at least another 20-30% is reduced, the cost gets reduced automatically. I mean, it has to go in that mode, fashion, and multiple options in the cloud has to come in terms of data out. Now, a lot of vendors charge the data out. So you're pushing GBs and TBs of data, and suddenly you want to extract all this, though the cost is less, but still it's a cost.
Yes.
And then a lot of partners use US dollar billing and all that. It's not in INR billing. So as I said, like partner to partner, there are variations available. I hope we come with a single control, all these dashboards, and my belief would be transferability between cloud becomes a seamless tool. Yeah. Interconnectivity instead of depending on a lot of third-party vendors. So if the vendors, the cloud providers itself give us a tool of syncing, use one application in one cloud, syncing to another seamlessly, if that, I think At least for the advanced users, this will be a good one. But for beginners, as I said, maybe a simple dashboard, auto sizing, auto running tools with lower cost, and that would be good for it. And back to you, Abhishek.
Very good suggestion, Srinivas. Thanks for that. Abhishek, I don't know if you have any such thing to add for the providers, but if you want to go beyond that and even say from a regulatory perspective, what can accelerate the environment for cloud adoption more would be great to hear your thoughts.
What I think is one thing which we have seen that to the your partners are very important for any kind of this transformation. And mostly what I've seen that there is a scarcity, except Bangalore, somehow Mumbai, Pune, and all this, there is a scarcity of resources. People are there in Bangalore, but if you want to go in some other places, the resources are availability is less. And how the different zones should also, the government should look towards creating the balance across the geography. Otherwise, it becomes very difficult for us to get the partners. And then the entire cloud specialty, you can say, is concentrated towards those centers only. So, and then you go with the other vendors or somewhere, you found that that competency is not coming. So there is from the government side, I think that equality should come. Second, for the engineering courses also, nowadays it has been improved drastically, but still, I think the colleges should adopt about cloud where they're reading C++, Java and all this stuff. Still, the cloud is not part of the subject.
Yeah.
And that has to be inculcated in the blood now, because if you have to come out, you will find cloud only. There will no be data center. So somehow the courses, syllabus, they doesn't include cloud. We often do the go for this intern and all these guys. They're doing from themselves from Udemy and other courses, but there is still I'll say such kind of thing is some training or something is required. On the infrastructure part, I think cloud service provider, now we don't have much options. Mostly they are aggregated at Mumbai and those data centers, maybe because of government or because of the electricity and all this stuff and the infrastructure road and all this availability. They don't go beyond Mumbai, Delhi, Chennai, Hyderabad. They don't go beyond that, and I don't see in the near future also any new zone or region will come. Being a population of such a big country, we may require lot many such kind of services, and this the government should think about the infrastructure, electricity, and all this stuff around. Then connectivity and then 5G and all this is very encouraging. This connectivity will definitely have a lot of, like, I have certain problems in compute where the edge computing is required, like manufacturing 4.0 stuff. So we are very much dependent on the network if I go on cloud, because my car is manufactured within the cycle time is 9 seconds. So the entire CNCs and everything has to communicate and decide in 9 seconds. So I want high fiber connectivity to my POP and cloud. So then I can locate my data centers and can have edge on there and do this. Still, we face those challenges, and in any time fiber can cut. However, the SLA, how stringent the SLA should be. But there are a lot of challenges, jitter and all this still be there. So network, data center, resources, their training skills, these are what I think that if we want something from the government side, and this will generate a huge opportunity, because I feel I was talking to US counterparts, and there is a scarcity of resources there also in cloud, and a lot of business will come in. And because of the dollar difference also, you can hire 4 DevOps engineers while you hire one DevOps engineer there. He will work in 42 hours, and here he'll work more than 42 hours.
Yeah.
So there is a lot of opportunity.
Great.
Yeah.
I think these are a great set of ideas and pretty comprehensive coverage across the various stakeholders. I think we are running out of time. So thanks, Srinivas, Abhishek, once again for what was a fascinating conversation and very interesting ideas. And with that, back to you, Justin. Thank you.
Thank you, Ajay, Srinivas, and Abhishek for that very engaging discussion. Thank you all for your thoughts and perspectives.